we got involved with Davidson Christian Fellowship as sophomores.
Right.
You were a small group Bible study leader, as I
remember
recall.
that. I ended my last one by playing Bruce Springsteen's Nebraska and saying, I'm done here.
I might have gone on a slightly higher note, but it ended just as badly. While you were in Germany, I was at Davidson College, and I was on the executive committee running Davidson Christian Fellowship. So I was serving as the evangelism coordinator.
Right.
So my job was our relationship to the community at large.
Right.
My job was, how are we being perceived? How are we communicating the love of God to people in the Davidson College community? And the year went from bad to worse. The further I got into the organization and the further we got into the school year, we became, I think, more and more closed off, more and more judgmental, more and more joyless.
How did that happen? Did you reinforce each other? Were you attacking the campus? Were you attacking each other? I mean, how did that happen?
How does any religion go bad? I think you become insular, you become defensive, you attack each other, and you forget about both loving each other and loving the community.
Right.
And so you sort of devolve into self-interest and self-preservation, and it leads to self-destruction. And so here I was, I'm the evangelism coordinator for Davidson Christian Fellowship, and it's Easter season, it's resurrection time. And I get this idea, well, if we're dead, then let's kill it. Let's kill this thing. Let's not act like we've been representing Christ. Let's kill it. So on Good Friday, we built ourselves a casket. We got 8 people to each carry a side. We marched right to the middle of campus, stopped on the steps of Chambers, right in the heart of the campus. I was wearing a preacher's robe, and I said, I am here to preach the funeral of Davidson Christian Fellowship.
Here's a question for me, for you. Why, or did you not at the time, when you were bearing Davidson Christian Fellowship, did you not say to yourself, does any of this have to do with the faith? I mean, is there anything that's involved here that actually has to do with the intrinsics of the faith? You blamed yourselves. I understand that. Did you do any blaming of the faith, the belief system?
No, because this was about, we were re-killing Jesus slowly. So it was a chance to say DCF is dead, but Jesus Christ is alive.
I mean, here's the problem. To me, I think of you as someone with a problem in your faith, which is that I think that there's a chance that the faith, Christian faith, but not just the Christian faith, almost any of the great faiths, they do make these demands on people, these intellectual, aesthetic, spiritual demands on people to not be open, to not make declarations for everybody, unless. For instance, I'm not sure that it's safe to say that the doctrine, the basic dogma of Christianity doesn't rule out millions upon millions upon millions, billions if you look back through time. In other words, that there is this thing about it that says you're in or you're out. And at some point you can't blur that line.
Okay, look, the deeper I have gone in the faith, the closer I've looked at Scripture, the more troubled I've been by Jesus' teachings. At the end of his life, when he sort of sums it all up, he says, you know what? There's sheep and there's goats. And if you think you're, a good guy, guess what? You're probably a bad guy. And if you think you're a bad guy, you might be okay. And so he flipped around the entire religious tradition, the entire thing of good behavior, bad behavior, closeness to God, I'm being faithful, I'm doing the right thing. He says, if you think you're in, you are so deceived. But if you think you're out, you might be okay. You just might be okay. And that completely says that Jesus is so much more inclusive. He's only exclusive against those who claim a certain exclusivity on him as their private property.